going to want to do is airfare, okay? Airfare is super important. Unless you're driving, if you live close enough to a Disney park, I'm so jealous. I would love to drive to a Disney park whenever I want. But for the most people, you know, watching this, everyone's going to predominantly be flying. I'm lucky enough to live in New York, where tickets to Orlando are pretty cheap. And I typically don't have to pay for my tickets. I use credit card points. And I'm going to be talking about how to get cheap travel and tickets and things like that in a separate video, so watch out for that as well. But you're going to want to book your, domestically, if you live in the US, you're going to want to book your tickets anywhere between 90 and 60 days in advance. I typically see that prices go up after, you know, like the closer you get. So when you get to the 30-day mark, you're probably paying a little bit of a premium, depending on when you're going. So if you're booking for Christmas, God bless you, child, you better go and book it before the 90-day mark. So that's something to think about. When it comes to trips like Paris or Amsterdam or Asia, you're going to have to think about this a little further back because you are traveling internationally. And typically international travel, the ticket prices go up a lot sooner. So you're going to want to look at that well in advance of your 60 or 90-day mark, even if it is just to check out what the prices are. So you have airfare. Now you got to think about activities, right? I mean, you're not going to just go and eat and sleep. You're going to want to do stuff. You're going to want to see things. And that's really generally the case no matter where you go. When, you know, you're at a place like Paris, you're going to want to hit up museums. You might want to hit a show. You might want to go to, you know, a bar. Whatever it is, walk the streets, you know, be a local, see the Eiffel Tower. These are all activities that you're going to want to figure out how you want to prioritize. Obviously, you're not going to see everything in one day or even in one trip. So you're going to want to see, what do you want to see most? Write it down. Again, everything, write it down. Or jot it down on your phone. Disney, same thing. I mean, I know that you're in a theme park. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to go on rides. I get that. But there's more than rides at Disney. There's, as I said earlier, parades, there are shows. Those are free. They're included with your ticket. So enjoy them. There are also additional add-ons with Disney. Disney loves add-ons and tours and things like that. And you're going to have to decide, is that what you and your family want to do? Do you want to take that extra tour? Do you want to, you know, see the extra little bit that's going to cost you a little bit more money, but might make it more magical? And that's up to you. And you're going to have to start looking at that pretty early because a lot of these tours are popular and they're going to book up as well. I wouldn't say that, you know, 180 days, that's you know, typically just reserved for dining. But you're going to want to think about your activities, I would say maybe about 4 months in advance. At least sort of get a rough idea, look at prices, see what you can afford, call them or look online and see what the availability is, and then possibly book it if you're, you know, if you have your heart set on it. And then the last thing with Disney is fast passes. And depending on how you made your decision earlier about where you wanted to stay, fast passes can differ. So if you booked a Disney hotel, on-site hotel, or some of the Good Neighbor hotels, you can book your fast passes 60 days before your trip. That's amazing. I mean, really, for the most part, you're going to get all the fast passes you want. What are fast passes? They're your magic little tickets to get you to the front of the line so that you don't have to wait as long. You get 3 fast passes per day. And that's 3 fast passes that you can pre-book. Once you're in the parks and you use the 3rd fast pass, go on your phone and book that 4th fast pass. And once you use that, try and see if you can get a 5th. I mean, it's sometimes a contest for me to see how many I can get in one day. If you decided to save a little bit of money and you booked an off-site hotel, an Airbnb, something that doesn't allow you to book 60 days in advance, you're going to get your fast passes 30 days in advance. And that's not necessarily going to be like, oh, I'm not going to get any fast passes. You are going to get fast passes. You might not just get the fast passes to the most popular rides at Disney. And that's sort of the, the drawback, right? So you have to make that decision. Do you want to pay a little more for Disney? Because Disney hotels are more expensive. So I'm going to put that out there right now. And get your fast passes. Or you're like, you know what? I've got time. I have patience. I can wait in these lines even if it's a little longer. That's okay. So you're going to have to book your fast passes. Fast passes, it's honestly Hunger Games. So you're going to want to go on the Disney website. You're going to log into your account. Here's where the tickets matter. You cannot book fast passes without a ticket attached to your name on your account. So, and that goes for everybody in your travel party. So make sure you buy those tickets, your park tickets, before your fast pass day comes. So if you're at the 60-day mark because you're staying on site, buy your tickets before 60 days. If you're, at an off-site hotel, buy your tickets before your 30-day mark so that it can be attached, it's on your account, and at the 60-day mark in the morning, you've got it, it's ready. So anyways, on the morning of, you're going to want to prepare. I know this sounds crazy, but prepare. So get on the website, log in, make sure your ticket is attached. Fast passes start at 7 o'clock in the morning. So you're going to want to make sure, and that's Eastern Standard, okay? So if you're somewhere else in the country, that might be even more problematic for you. I don't know. So, you want to get up, be prepared, know exactly which rides you want to get on and what time you want to get on those rides. That's super important. The timing is super important because if, let's say, you want to, and I'm going to explain in a second, but let's say you want to have a ticket to Space Mountain, which is in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom, and you want to go on Splash Mountain, which is in Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom. For those of you who don't know, those are on opposite ends of Magic Kingdom. You may not want to book those back to back because that means that you're going to go on Space Mountain and then you're going to have to run across the park, maybe not run, but you're going to have to basically go from Space Mountain to Splash Mountain pretty quickly. That may not be the best idea. So just keep in mind, look at, go online, look at maps of the park, and make sure that you're booking your fast passes that makes sense. So if you're decided that, you're going to go and hit up Tomorrowland first, and then you're going to go get lunch, you're going to go and, go hit up Frontierland, say, like, in the afternoon after lunch, right? You're going to want to book your Splash Mountain Fast Pass maybe at 3:30 instead, or 4 o'clock, so that you know that you have time to get from one area of the park to the other. So that's fast passes for you. You're going to want to get on. You want to book your fast passes as quickly as possible. I know that sounds crazy, but there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who are doing that exact same thing at that exact same moment. Also, keep in mind, if you booked a Disney resort or a Good Neighbor resort that allows you to book the fast passes 60 days in advance, you're going to have the added opportunity of booking all your fast passes at once. What does that mean? That means that, let's say your vacation is 4 days long. You're not just booking your fast pass for that first day. You're booking your fast passes for all 4 days on the 60-day mark on the first day. And I know that sounds confusing, but that just basically means that you get to book all of your trip at once, up to 10 days. So if you're going on a trip that's longer than 10 days, you're not going to be able to do that for the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, or 14th day. You're going to only do that for the first 10. But most people, unless you're international, you're not traveling for longer than 10 days at a time. So you don't need to worry about that. If you're not staying at a Disney park, you're going to have to do this every morning for the amount of days that you're traveling. So what does that mean? That means that if your 60-day mark is on a Monday and you're traveling for 5 days, you're going to be waking up early to make your fast passes every day from Monday through Friday. And I know that sounds like a lot of work, and maybe you're like, that's not worth it to me. I'm just going to do this whenever I get up. That's totally up to you. Just know that, again, there are other people who are willing to wake up and willing to get those fast passes, and you may not get the rides you want. And if that's okay with you, then fantastic. You get whatever fast pass you get when you sign on. So really, that's it. I know it sounds like a lot of information, but those really are the main points. You're going to want to make sure that there are these magical numbers for Disney. It's 180, 90, and 60 or 30, depending on if you're booking on-site or off-site hotels. So what does that mean? 180, that means that you're going to need to decide where you're going to eat at the 180-day mark. The 90-day mark is typically for airfare. And that doesn't mean you have to book at 90 days. That just means, you know what, at 90 days, you should start looking at the very least. Go on Expedia, go on whatever your credit card point site, see what the prices are. See if those prices work for you. If they work for you, book it right away. What do you have to lose, or keep watching the sites. And then 60 and 30 are the two magic numbers for fast passes. If you have that down, you basically have your Disney planning, like I would say probably 85% done. Those are really the most important things when it comes to planning your Disney trip. Now, when it comes to regular travel, you don't have to stick to days like that. However, the planning is the same. You have to think about where you're going to stay. You have to think about what you're going to eat. You have to think about what are you going to do, and if those activities need reservations, you're going to need to book those reservations well in advance. And sometimes even things that don't require reservations, you may want to buy your tickets in advance. And I'll give you an example in terms of Paris. I bought my tickets to the Louvre online before I got to Paris. And what did that mean? That means I didn't have to go stand outside on a ginormous ticket line to buy a ticket. It saves you time, and sometimes it can even save you money. So planning is super duper important. You have to look at these things so that when you get to your location, whether it's Disney, Paris, Asia, wherever you're traveling to, you're not wasting that precious travel time, because when you're traveling, every minute you're paying for it. So just keep that in the back of your head and make sure that you're doing the appropriate amount of planning. I love planning, so I may go overboard. You don't really have to do that. But if you love to do that, great. I can give you so many tips on doing that. But if you just want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your trip and taking sort of some of the stress away, these are some of the things that you're just going to have to pay attention to make sure that you're doing the best job for your trip. You're not sort of just going and then hoping for the best. Anyways, I hope you learned a lot from this video. I know it's a little long for a first video, but I wanted to make sure we covered on some of the more important stuff. If you have any questions, you can always comment on this video. I'll be sure to check it and keep checking it a few days after the video goes up and see if I can answer any of these questions. I'm by no means an expert, but if there's something I don't know, I'll be sure to try and look it up and get you some answers. And you know what? Hit subscribe. If you liked this video, hit like. Great. If you didn't like the video, don't hit dislike. And make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook at One Girl in the World, and on Twitter at one girl _ the world. Right now the channel's pretty new, so there's not a lot of content up. However, I have a quadruple countdown. I know, quadruple. And what does that mean? That means I have 4 trips for sure coming up. And I'm going to be vlogging, I'm going to be taking pictures, I'm going to be going on tours, I'm going to be doing a lot of interesting things that you're going to want to make sure that you catch, and you might be able to learn from. So make sure you follow those channels, because that's where you're going to see a lot of the smaller tips and tricks and things like that. I'm also going to be doing videos on things beside travel. So I recently went on a small, I do mean small, shopping trip, Disney and Harry Potter related, and I'm going to show you what I got. I think it's super cute. I know I probably didn't need these things, but again, super cute. So be sure to watch, and you can see what I got. So anyways, I hope to catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.